that time of year where we finish the year off with the best that 2021 had to offer. As I mentioned in the worst albums of 2021, not a whole lot came out this year, especially that I was interested in. I had one of my lower counts when it came to album reviews in a full year, just being a little over 50, which I wanted to be under 60 this year, so we've reached that goal, congratulations. And these albums were the 10 best that came out this year. Because of the small amount of album reviews I had, it was a little bit easier for me to pick and choose just what I wanted on this list in particular, from the list to the honorable mentions. Like, these were the 15 albums that definitely defined my 2021 and made them better by being so good. And that's really all you need to know. You know how this works. So let's just get it started, shall we? Number 10, Asking Alexandria, See What's on the Inside. Okay, so maybe last year was a mulligan, at least to everyone else, but to myself, I actually enjoyed Like a House on Fire more than most, and it was definitely a surprise to see AA leave the label that helped them kickstart their whole career as they left Sumerian Records, but a change of scenery seems to be what they needed, as their debut with Better Noise seems to have given them more of an identity as to what the band will be going forward. A more hard rock sound with hard-pounding choruses that just get stuck in your head with each listen. I feel like even the old fans could get down with this more than the pop rock sound that they had going from their previous release. Like, it's definitely a rebound, and I think that Asking Alexandria just can continue their evolution off of what this album had to offer. Number 9, Weezer, Van Weezer. Weezer paying tribute to classic hard rock? I know, I was shocked too. But honestly, it slaps. These songs are fun, and for Weezer, it's been a hot minute since they had any fun or sounded like they were having fun on their albums. Throughout the 10 tracks, Weezer gives us guitar-driven rock inspired by Van Halen, Motley Crue, Ozzy Osbourne, and even a nod to themselves as their song All of the Good Ones sounds oddly familiar. Weezer had a true rebound in 2021, but with 4 albums due out next year, we all know that they will freefall somewhere, some point in the year. So for now, let's just all enjoy this rebound.
What's your name, girlfriend?
Number 8, Tyler the Creator, Call Me When You Get Lost. Hip-hop and rap had such a weak year, but at least Tyler rebounded. I wasn't that big of a fan of Igor, it just seemed too generic, like Tyler ran out of ideas, but here on this album, I was definitely proven wrong. I love the classic 90s feel. It's just so fresh to hear when all you're used to hearing is generic trap beats and mumbling nowadays. All I have to say is this thing slaps and gives us some good rap music to cherish for this otherwise shitty year that the genre had.
How did you get to me?
Number 7, Poppy, Flux. The follow-up to last year's album, I disagree, and her first album under her full control, as Poppy gives us Flux, a genre-bending album that in just 9 tracks shows you how much genre-bending it actually does. From the grunge-leaning songs like the title track and Her, to the punk-leaning Lessen the Damage, and more hyperpop tracks like Hysteria, Poppy leaves you attached without really losing you. It's short, sweet, and to the point, and it's triumphant to see Poppy make the album that she actually wanted to make. Now, if she would please make a full album like the EDP, that would really be awesome. Like, please. Number 6, Evanescence, The Bitter Truth. After 10 years, they still got it. Amy Lee especially, as her voice hasn't aged a bit. They returned to their rock roots after a short but sweet orchestral phase. Evanescence just get back to the basics on how to make a great album, at least for their standards. Singles like The Game Is Over, Better Without You, Use My Voice, and Wasted on You are just some of the really, really great highlights. But really, the whole album is just a treat. Really nothing skippable in my opinion. They just really, really overexceeded expectations, and for that, I'm happy. Number 5, Foo Fighters, Medicine at Midnight. Now that's better. 2017's Concrete and Gold was so unbearable, but Medicine at Midnight, it's fun and a disco-filled adventure. Oh yeah, Foo Fighters got really into the disco thing this year. Okay, so not all of it was disco, but it was fun, and for an album that's only 9 tracks, it was very well put together. The addition of the church choir on the opening track making a fire caught me off guard, but my god, it works. I was so satisfied with this, and this is just a huge step in the right direction for the Foos. Number 4, Olivia Rodrigo, Sour. I'm not usually a fan of modern pop music, but This is so worth it. Olivia Rodrigo brings so much to the table, from her ballads like Driver's License to her more pop rock leaning tracks like Good For You and Brutal. I mean, she's just nailing it and establishing herself as one of the young pop stars for this generation, and really a big inspiration to the community itself. Now, let's hope she recruits Travis Barker for the next album so she can show all these pop punk wannabes how it's done. At least, that's what I hope, but we'll see how album number 2 goes. Number 3, Lil Nas X, Montero. I was not on the Lil Nas X hype train in 2019. I didn't understand the appeal, but now, totally do. I'm glad that I do. An album about the struggles of coming out and just being yourself and ignoring all who don't like it. The songs are catchier and much more enjoyable, and yes, I do sing along. I'm not ashamed to say that. I love this Lil Nas X, and I'm glad he's happy now more than ever. Also, how many people do you know have twerked on Satan himself, then snapped his neck and looked cool doing it? No one? Didn't think so. Number 2, Churches, Screen Violence. 2018's Love Is Dead was a mixed bag. By far Church's worst album, but this time Lauren and Martin go back to self-producing and mixing the record on their own, and just like their first 2 records, it worked to perfection. A full album inspired by the horror genre. From the opener Asking for a Friend all the way to the end, you were just in synth pop heaven from start to finish. Not to mention, there's also a more rock-leaning track like How Not to Drown, which features goth music god himself, Robert Smith. It's just a banger that you just absolutely have to listen to, trust me. It's no secret that Churches don't need a producer to make things work. I get they want to change things up here and there, but they did that all by themselves, and it's kept the fans satisfied. 9 down, 1 to go. But before I give you my favorite album of the year, why don't we take a look at some honorable mentions that barely missed the list. These albums were good, but barely just, there was something about them that kept them off the list from being one of the better albums of 2021. Honorable mention number 1, Architects, For Those That Wish to Exist. Holy Hell was a change in direction the band needed to make, and with its new release, the follow-up to Holy Hell, they continue to get more involved with the mainstream while also keeping the heavier moments that made them loved. Is it the best I've heard? No. But enjoyable? Yeah. Honorable mention number 2, Chevelle, Nothing Is Real, and This Is a Simulation. To be honest, I always thought this band would kind of fall off after like 2004, but boy, again, I was wrong. This album gets weird in places for sure, but for the most part, it definitely holds up. I would dare say that this might be the best effort to date by the band, but some of the real fans might try to fight me on that. Heavy is the crowd. Honorable mention number 3, Daughtry, Dearly Beloved. I thought I lost him. Cage to Rattle sucked, but Dearly Beloved has reeled me back in, and I'm just so glad that Chris Daughtry won't try to waste his talented rock voice on a mainstream pop career. And in all honesty, I probably would have never known that this thing came out unless a friend of mine hadn't told me to listen to Heavy as the Crown. To that friend, you know who you are, thank you. Because of you, I know that Daughtry can still make enjoyable rock music. Honorable mention number 4, Royal Blood, Typhoons. Do these two ever miss? I mean, this is the catchiest songs that they have ever released, ever written, and it's not even close. I mean, don't get me wrong, the albums before this are great, but this one just hits so different. Honorable mention number 5, Weezer, Okay Human. Remember when I said Weezer had a good year? Well, that's because they released 2 good albums in the same year. This is a way different record from Van Weezer's. Here, Rivers Cuomo and company rely more on the orchestral type instruments to get them through this whole album, which is mainly focused on the internet and how much it really sucks. It really serves its purpose and felt like one of the better Weezer albums that they had to offer in years. Now, again, let's just pray that the 4 Seasons albums next year won't ruin their reputation again. This album impressed me the most, which means it's my top album of the year. Number 1, Ice Nine Kills, The Silver Scream 2, Welcome to Horrorwood. Churches may have based their album off of horror movies, but Ice Nine Kills decided that one time for them wasn't enough. The sequel to 2018's The Silver Scream sees Ice Nine Kills sticking with the horror theme just in time for Halloween, the movie and the holiday, giving us heavy songs with thrashing choruses and stellar music videos. Because of the dark vibes and the horror nods, this might just be my new favorite band. They're doing everything right, they know what their audience is going to want, and they know that they'll eat it up, so they end up putting their best foot forward every time, and for that, I can appreciate it. Well, there you have it. That was the best albums that came out in 2021. You can tell me in the comments below what were some of your favorite albums that came out this year. Just maybe some that surprised you, or maybe ones that you just, again, your favorite band or artist that you just absolutely loved and you cannot get enough of. Because I can tell you this list this year, it definitely had some artists that I never thought were going to win me over there, that I never thought I was going to get into, that actually did an excellent job this year. So sometimes you got to go out of your comfort zone a bit and just see what these artists and bands have to offer. And that's really what I'll leave you with, as I hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and really, I guess, since I take my week off now, I will see you all in 2022. But until then, keep staying safe, get vaccinated if you haven't already, and I will catch you all in the next one.
Don't come home for Christmas. You're the last thing I want to see underneath the tree. Merry Christmas, I could care